Hey!
So, this was the idea. Two artists, both singer-songwriters, chatting during the COVID-19 lockdown in a Zoom room. We talked about a whole host of subjects we feel really passionate about and aired our views on life. This is Amir, and I'm Parry Ray. Welcome to our conversations, unfiltered and stripped back.
What I really want to get to today is something that I think is really interesting on two counts. I wanted to talk about mental health with you. Firstly, because we're looking at different generations, it occurred to me that when I was growing up, no one talked about mental health. Mental health was not as prevalent as it is in society, regardless, I feel, of cultural background. But I also think it's relevant because we are still in a sort of lockdown. Lockdown is being eased this week in London.
Yeah.
I've lost all sense of time. Are we in week 8? Is it week 8?
I think we are.
Yeah, week 8.
It's either week 8. No, we're in 8. Yeah, you're right.
We're in 8? Yeah. Okay. So what I would say is, with regards to childhood, I don't ever remember anyone saying, I'm feeling a bit down. You were either in a good mood or a bad mood. It was quite binary. Yeah. It was very odd.
Yeah.
Whereas with my kids, and I wonder if this was the same with you growing up, there was a much more increased awareness. Would you say?
I think when I was at primary school, no, because bearing in mind, is your son your eldest?
No, my daughter's my eldest. She's 23.
23, right.
And he's 21. So you're 5 years.
I'm 5 years older than your daughter.
Yeah.
I remember being at primary school and sort of told off for quite a lot of stuff. And I wasn't really, I don't think I was ever naughty. But things like ADHD, I had to go and get tested for that. And my mum and dad took me to this thing, and apparently they were just like, the reason that he can't concentrate is actually because he's ahead of all the kids and stuff. They were saying that, and they played music. I was only young. What?
Good Asian child.
Good Asian child. Well, not in the right places though.
Well,
put maths on the board, I'll be like, whatever. That's the problem. So I was, obviously my brain was moving fast, but with that
something else, yeah.
That's it, So I don't think that the mental health stuff really kicked in till I'd left school, really. Okay. And I mean left like college, like way after.
Oh, okay. So not even, there was no awareness, would you say, at secondary school? No.
I think you were either a lad or a pussy, and that was it. But I went to a theatre school, so I kind of just decided that everyone was such a bloody drama queen that I'll just chill here and be quiet over there. Okay. And because I tell you what, that school was so small as well. It was, everyone knew each other's business, and it just gets blown out of proportion. And I was kind of like the most laddie there. But I think there was only a few lads there that actually liked playing football. Yeah, there was no one to really speak to at my school. I was just the naughty one, and that was it. I was just the bad guy throughout the whole of school.
You're not the bad guy. I think.
No, I don't think I am, but I was looked at as it at school for sure.
Yeah, and that's a hard label. Well, you've clearly shaken it, and it didn't. But that could have been a hard label if it kind of got embedded. But that is interesting, because I thought. Well, I just thought maybe that was something that came in during your school time, because certainly with my kids, everything.
I think it was much after.
Huh?
I think it was afterwards. I think I might have just missed it, or if it had started to become prominent, no one was taking it seriously in the class. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were either a lad or a pussy, and I was luckily looked at as a lad.
I think also what's interesting is from the other side of things. And maybe your parents, maybe some of this is not, again, cultural. Maybe some of it is, at the end of the day, families are distinct groups of people. Yes, our cultural upbringing has a certain part to play. I don't think I was ever really asked about my feelings. My parents, they absolutely gave me a loving, secure, stable upbringing, I don't think I was ever asked my opinion that much. And I don't think I was ever asked about my feelings.
Whatever. I suppose you'd know if you were. Yeah, no, I think, okay, that's a bit different here.
I don't think so.
I've got quite a lovey-dovey dad. He likes to give me a hug and stuff, so I'm the same. So I'm quite an affectionate man as well. So I suppose I was always comfortable with giving like my guy mates hugs as well. I was always comfortable with that. So, you know, there was none of that like, you either, if you give me a hug, you're a gay guy. There's none of that when I was growing up. But in terms of like mental health, I don't think it was really anyone's concern when I was at school.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe it just depended on the school I went to, I'm not sure, but no one really cared, and everyone was horrible.
What about now? Because I know we spoke earlier, and I sort of said, I am generally a really positive, joyful person. And in fact, I often talk to my mates are always like, you've got this delusional joy. And actually, I think that's one of the gifts I've been given in life. But this week, for some reason, I've slowly been unraveling.
Yeah.
And for me to actually admit that is quite a big thing as well. Because,
Sure.
you know, I'm a mother and I'm 51. And yeah, but I've had to realize that through lockdown, I'm pretty good in my own company. I'm an only child. I've been isolating on my own. I'm quite chilled about that. But this week, yeah, I've definitely, the wheels have been falling off a little bit. And I've had to check in with myself quite a lot just to go, hang on, what are you, be really honest with yourself, kind of almost like my own mental health check, which is weird again, because I haven't kind of grown up with it.
Yeah.
I have grown up with it in the sense that I've supported my kids, but I haven't experienced that myself.
Sure.
How have you been feeling?
Every day is up and down, really.
Yeah.
And this makes it more fun. But
absolutely.
No, to be fair, I am quite lucky of where I am, because I've got all my guitars, I've got my bass, I've got my drum set, and it's set up. And you know, I was really pissed off yesterday because I broke my last pair of sticks.
Oh no!
And thought that the local music shop around, like in the neighbouring town to us, was closed. I thought, just on the off chance, I'll give them a call. So I've just bought a new 6 pairs, and that sorted me out. But I haven't written a song this entire time. And I'd have been in the studio about 6 times and would have come up with something major. I think this whole thing of lockdown has just made me, I don't really care to write at the moment. I've gone back to my old way, which was put a Foo Fighters set list next to my drum set and just play the lot. And I've got a few fresh blisters that I'm loving. And I've got my guitars here, and I've got a keyboard, but I've not created anything, which is kind of why I'm in waves, because I get to a point where I'm really quite difficult to deal with for like a short period of time, maybe a long period of time, but quite a short period of time, when I think I want to say something, but don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. And in fact, so I'm not singing as much as I thought I would be, but when I do sing, I'm kind of like, oh, I've stopped feeling like a caged animal. And then I'm like, Parry, you quit. Why aren't you singing every day? But some days...
You can't be asked sometimes.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's this weird conflict in my head. And I'm writing, but I'm writing fragments, which is really weird, because normally...
We can do a full thing, yeah.
Yeah, songs just... I almost say they're downloaded. I don't really feel I have to do a great deal. It's like the top line and the...
Press the cloud in your brain and it's
it just comes. And at the moment I'm getting like, okay, yeah, a couple of verses or a chorus, but that chorus doesn't go with those verses. And then I think I've written 2 full sets of lyrics, but what's weird, it's almost like there's like a short circuit or something in my brain.
Okay.
Because normally it would be so obvious what the top line would be, and it's not coming.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm like, okay, can we get a move on? What is going on? And then sometimes I think, well, like you, every day is different. And everyone, you know, I'm sure you've got great support network of mates as well, as do I. And it's kind of like, everyone's like, just cut yourself some slack.
But you can't see any of your mates who would normally take your mind off that sort of thing.
I know, calling. I have to say the hardest thing is, and I've said this to a few of my friends today, is I really mean, and I don't want to sound creepy or dirty, I miss touching people. and I really miss smelling people. You know how people smell good, like, you know.
I know. I do know what you mean, because like I said earlier, I'm quite an affectionate guy.
Yeah, me too.
Not being able to, because my one of my really good friends, shout out Ramnita, she's a beauty therapist and she runs her own thing. It's called Kalon Beauty. And my mum had ordered a couple of things to, like, as presents, and she dropped them round, and I just said, come, just sit on the bench. We've got the benches outside the front, and so I sat down. So we maintained distance, but it was just really odd not to hug my best friend since I was 4 years old.
Yeah, that is.
You know, it's just odd, weird, to the point where, like, I think I said to you earlier on the phone, I was a bit like, maybe just catching a glimpse wasn't actually as good as just leaving it until this is all done.
And I agree. And that's the thing. So today I did have a few wobbly moments, and my daughter phoned, and I was getting really teary, and she was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what's going on.
It's just, you know, Boris gave us a whole load of nothing, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I think for us also, that's particularly hard. But I think the thing is, she said to me, Mummy, you can go for a socially distant walk with your mates. And I think I came to the same conclusion that you did, which is kind of like...
Makes it a bit worse, really.
Yeah, and this is quite fun. I like this. And speaking to people, I love hearing people's voices, but actually being so close to someone and not being able to put my arms around them. I mean, obviously not random strangers. I'm not creepy. But, you know, like a couple of weeks ago, I was unwell and my son did my shopping for me, and he'd come to the door. And it's the weirdest wrestling in my brain and my heart. It's, you know, it feels so unnatural to have to stand at my door and not be able to put my arms around him. And I have to say, for the first time ever, I mean, as a singer, I have always courted the darkness, and I like the darkness. I actually like immersing myself in it. And for all
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and for all my joyfulness and my very happy disposition, which again isn't fake, I am quite good at allowing myself to really sink into the darkness, and I'm lucky enough to be able to pull myself out. Yeah. I've never been a depressive person, and I don't feel that lockdown is making me a depressive person, but the range of emotions, like you said, it's like this in a day, that's new for me, and it's quite a challenge.
It's just so odd because no one really knows what the hell is going on. No one knows the real rules. No one knows if they're breaking the rules. That's always on your mind. Then, like, there's obviously loved ones you can't see. I haven't seen my son for like 9 weeks.
Oh, but literally not seen him.
Very, very for me.
Yeah, that is.
It is what it is. I can't argue. I'm not going to argue with his mother. I think she's done the right thing, because if she's that scared, then leave that there. I don't want to be a thorn in your side even when I'm not there. Let's leave it there.
No, so that's a big thing. I think we've all got to, because it is so vague, as you say. We've got to, above all, be thoughtful and respectful to everybody, because everybody's...
It's not her fault. It's the virus. That's all. But, you know, I mean, as it's easing, I think people are kind of really more confused this week than they have been the last few weeks, because I think it's kind of like, well, you gave us a whole load of call. Now what? And you've used a Nando's heat scale to tell us where we're at. You know? And it's just, there's no explaining what the hell to do other than, oh, okay, well, do you know what? I can go for a longer walk in a different town, and when I get home, I'll just drink maybe one less beer.
Yeah.
That's kind of probably the mentality of all the drinkers in the country, and all the major gym rats are just literally thinking, well, I haven't got any gym equipment at home. Let's have a box of cookies.
Yeah.
And then all just go, all of people's normal life has gone pear-shaped. So it's not only me, everyone's trying to find something to stay occupied. But luckily for me, I've got this.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think all of us, or a lot of us, have got lots of blessings to count, which is really wonderful. I think today I definitely hit a low when it became very clear to me that live venues were not opening this year. I mean, if they do, they say at the earliest right at the end of the year. And then I heard one venue organizer say it might even be 2021. And I was just like, okay. Because I was basically in the middle of touring. So like, okay. So, postponed has taken on a whole different meaning now. And I think probably maybe not the beauty salons, but you and I probably have some crossover, going out to restaurants, going out to pubs to meet your mates, going out to bars. I'd love to go and get a manicure because I'm not capable of painting my nails without getting colour everywhere. But everything I would like to do, both personally and professionally, way down the list. Now, I'm not complaining because people's health and safety is paramount. But I suppose I go back to saying I hadn't really understood the impact it would have on me sort of emotionally.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was ready for that. I think people initially just thought it'd be 3 weeks and we'll be back to normal. It's now week 8 and there's some people, everybody's posting their home workouts, you and me included. This is what I'm doing with my day, this is what I'm doing with my day. But it's like all the gaps in between.
Yeah. When
you're posting those stuff is actually just me tearing my hair out.
But actually, interestingly, so if I'm not in a kind of sharing, open, positive frame of mind, I don't post, which is quite interesting as an artist as well, because do you feel like there's a latent kind of undercurrent of gotta post, but I can't play that game. If I don't feel it, it's the same as singing. If I don't feel it, I can't do it. I didn't post anything.
I used to feel like that. I used to be like that.
Did you?
I used to think, I haven't posted yet and all that sort of stuff, because I was obviously right at the beginning of my career, and I wasn't the biggest fan of social media anyway.
Me neither.
I think I didn't have Facebook until some people got like thousands of friends or whatever, and I think I still had like 28 friends when I was 24 or something. I was really late bloomer. And then I was told by my team, you're like, well, social media is the biggest thing, so you need to use that. I'm like, okay, cool, fine. So then there was a patch where I wasn't even used to posting, and I was getting reminders from the team saying, you need to post, can you sort it out? I'm like, I haven't taken any pictures. Now I'm just sort of like got to a point where I look at the time and think, I haven't posted today. What am I doing? Click, done.
Yeah.
As long as it's in context and it's important, I can't just justify taking selfies like that.
I totally agree.
I cannot be bothered with that.
For me, you say you're a late bloomer. That made me laugh because I had to come to social media like in my 40s, and I was like, oh my Lord, I'm not going to get a handle of this. I still don't love Facebook, I have to say, even though I know it's prevalent in my demographic. I actually took to Instagram way more, even though I was like, oh my God, they're words and pictures. I mean, God, what am I going to do?
Yeah. It's actually the easiest one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it feels the most natural because it's like, okay, what do I want to say and how do I marry those two things up? And I suppose because I am a songwriter, words, and I write a blog, and I used to work in publishing back in the day, words are really important to me. So I'm always quite measured about what I want to say. And then it's just about matching up the visual. So now it's quite interesting because we're all in our houses, really. I mean, there's so many times I can take a picture of the park, or, now I can drive somewhere and go somewhere a little bit more interesting. No. But I suppose it's mood. I'm driven by my mood, and I had not appreciated before what a big fan
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think I was posting boxing and drums and cooking every day because I'm doing those things.
I know, I like your cooking videos.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, there'll be a few more. I took a break a few days ago because I think I posted on my story because I hadn't all day. And I just thought, oh, well, let's share this with the people. And all I said was, I've done absolutely cool today because I couldn't be asked. So sorry I've been away for a while because people are always watching your stuff.
Well, yes, and that's what's interesting because sometimes, and I haven't done a ramble, so I might do one tomorrow. And then I'm like...
I like your rant.
Do you?
Yeah,
I'm glad. And in fact, what's really funny is I put it up and I go, no one is going to watch 12 minutes of this. And then loads of people message going, oh my God, I really miss this. I've also done a bit of lip syncing, which I might bring back as well.
What do you mean? What, like the TikTok stuff?
No, not TikTok. I haven't even gone near TikTok. So lip syncing to things like Billie Eilish, Bad Guy, or I did Jonas Brothers, Sucker, just like dancing around in my marigolds and my pajamas.
Get on that. I'll watch that.
All right, I'll do one of those for you in the next few days, just for you. Right. But yeah, I suppose as the time's worn on, you've got to have a certain level of energy to want to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's quite hard because we're not being able to socialise. Normally you feed off other people's energies and we can't do that. Because there's only so much you can do. Obviously, we're going to meet hopefully one day. But right now it's through a screen, right?
Yeah.
And I can do like stupid quick draw games on House Party with the boys when we're all pissed and we can't draw pictures anymore. Which is funny, but the idea of like knowing that a few of my friends that obviously have had, one of them has broken up with his missus a few months ago and he never really got any closure. So I was always there for him and now I can't fully be there. So I have to listen to it over a phone and, not being able to help your mates and also not being able to be helped by your mates is a bit annoying.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, the point about energy, because I'm feeling that too. I mean, I love this. I know that we haven't met face to face yet, but there is a certain level of energy that you can get, but it's weird because it's not the same. And I think it's just the engagement of other senses, because we're animals at the end of the day. Do you know? I'm going to go back to that. I know I sound so creepy, but smell. I just miss.
It's everything.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. If someone smells good, you have just a great first impression straight up. That's just how it is. Yeah.
And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she was like, I totally get you missing hugs. And she said, I miss your hug. She said, you are a great hugger. And I was like, I am such a good hugger. And then that made me happy and sad, because it's like, points to me, you're a great hugger.
One of your many gifts is not being used at the moment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there are quite a lot of them sitting on the unused pile.
Oh.
But I know it's weird. It's weird. So how do you get yourself out the hole? When you are a bit like this, do you wait for it to pass, or do you do something like actively?
I just try and get on with the day with whatever's available to do. I mean, if occasionally, management or whatever will send me some tasks to do, which is always welcomed. I'm cool with that, and I'll get that done. But then what would normally take me all day because I'm running around with Ronnie or I've got other things going on, would take me about 10 minutes and then it's done. I'm like, right, anything else? No, I think you're good for now. Right, okay. Okay. So, I'm obviously very tempted to meet up with people and keep a distance in the park, but I'm a bit worried about kicking the football to and fro because, that's the whole point, right? So obviously I'm not going to be doing that, but I would love to. I just miss kicking a ball to someone who can kick it back. I miss that.
Yeah.
So I just sort of get on with my day. I set little alarms in my phone, right? So
do you?
I just don't want to stay. I don't want to stay in my bed any later than 10 a.m. because I normally get to bed about 2 or 3.
Okay.
Or fall asleep. I'll get to bed earlier, but I'll fall asleep between 2 and 3. I wake up naturally about 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And I obviously, will answer any kind of emails or whatever. While I'm in my bed, I'll flick through whatever's going on, answer all the messages or whatever. And then from then, I just put on boxing stuff on YouTube. Otherwise, I won't box because I can't be bothered. Otherwise, I just won't get on the bag and start skipping and do any of my workouts. Won't do it because I'm not. There's nothing to do. I'm not showing this to anyone, so there's nothing to do in my head. So I'll get up, I'll have some breakfast, and then while I'm eating, I'll put something to do with boxing on.
Okay.
To get in the
zone.
Get in fight mode, yeah. And then midday, I won't ever leave it longer than midday before I come in here and.
Okay, so this is really interesting. So I'm getting lots of tips because I just thought, I'm going to be free flowing, and sometimes I'll have meetings. Work meetings or whatever, and they'll punctuate my day. I think today, actually, stupidly, was the first day in ages I didn't do any exercise.
Okay.
So I think maybe that didn't help me because...
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say I went for a long walk, but actually it's a different... That was great because the sun was out and a bit of vitamin D, but that endorphin rush, I didn't have it today. And I think that note to self, you've got to put all those little things in place. And actually it's a really good point about starting the music early. I think I just need to do that early because sometimes What do
you mean? You mean put music on to listen to early?
No. Just start writing or put music on. I often have music on actually, but just maybe for me, it's as simple as lift the piano lid. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Like lift the piano lid. Because once it's open, I can't not touch it.
That's it. That's your way to do it then. Because I suppose boxing is so important to me. But the whole ritual of getting in the car, driving to the gym, going into a changing room, meeting people that you know, and putting those boxing boots on, wrapping your hands, actually get in the gym, meet up with some of the trainers. And there's not very many boxers in my gym, right? So when I'm on the bag, there used to be, especially people who, when I first started, would watch me on the bag and be like, and now suddenly there's a bunch of boxers in there. But before...
You're a trailblazer, my love. You're a trailblazer.
Why not? Thank you. But I was a bit like, that whole ritual is gone.
Yeah.
I walk from the kitchen through this door, and the punch bag is.
Yeah. And
that's all I've got to work out on. Oh, and this kettlebell to do strength training.
Okay, so very impressive.
Not any of the options like there was, so that obviously plays in mind. And then I would swim in the evenings before my dinner. I was always back and forth in the gym when there's nothing going on, but there's nothing to do. Like. Right, I should right now. What day is it today? Is it the 14th?
Yes.
I would have just landed in Gran Canaria, and tomorrow I'd be playing to 10,000 people.
Wow. I think the thing is that it's been bandied around a lot over the last few years about being kind to each other. But I think my big headline this week has been actually, I've really got to cut myself some slack. I've got to find that balance between feeling fulfilled and productive, and feeling like I'm satisfying the creative being in me, but also be able to go, do you know what? You're not feeling it. So just do something. Watch telly. I don't actually watch that much telly, which is
hard to just sit and watch telly when you're such a busy being.
Yeah, it's hard.
And obviously, you definitely seem to be one of those, and I'm like that more than I'm not.
Yeah.
So I will sit and watch a film, and occasionally, but I found it quite difficult to just sit and watch a film. Like sometimes people just say people who play on Xbox are just lazy. Do you understand what that's about? I mean,
no.
That's mega brain power.
Oh yeah, your brain is going constantly. Yeah, I get that.
So it's not lazy. So I try and kill some time by playing FIFA, but that just gets boring.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as watching football. I mean, I put the commentary on really, really loud and stuff like that. And if I score against Tottenham, I go mental. But it's FIFA, it's not the same.
Oh,
so playing
Arsenal, it's all coming back to me.
Who do you support?
You know who I support.
I need to hear it again.
Well, everybody's second favourite team, Spurs.
Everyone's least favourite team.
Okay, we're not falling out over football. We're leaving the football to one side.
Okay.
I've forgiven you for being an Arsenal supporter, so we'll just leave it at that.
I'll forgive you for being a Spurs fan.
Okay, fine.
No one else will ever hear me say that to them.
I mean, look. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's I think it's finding that balance. And I tell you what's interesting about lockdown is I feel like I get into a groove, which I'm really good at doing in normal life, whatever that is. But I slip out of it quite easily at the moment, and it's weird and it's annoying. And then there's this whole gambit of explosion of emotions. You know, you get frustrated, pissed off, sad, and just frustrated. A lot of frustration, a lot of maybe anxiety as to when this will be over, and when it's over, will you be ready for it? There's a lot of that playing on people's minds, I think. And I think the reason that I'm trying to stay in shape, get in slightly better shape, but also have a nice time and just sort of keep the tools sharpened when I'm playing drums and all that sort of stuff, is just so that when it's done, I feel ready. Yeah, you're match fit.
Yeah, exactly. I want to try my best to stay match fit, and it's hard to do that because what motivation do we have other than
ourselves?
The place that you sleep and the place that you watch films for leisure is also now the place that we work, and is also now the place that we exercise. It's also now the place that you're stuck with the same people over and over again. No disrespect to anyone who's living with whoever. I love my parents, we all know that. But sometimes you want different company because, like you said, we're majorly social beings, most of us. And, I haven't seen my brother for ages. So it'd be nice to catch up with him. He's already had his birthday. It's my younger brother's birthday technically not my blood, but he's my best friend.
Yeah.
It's his birthday on Saturday. Probably won't see him.
Yeah.
If I do, it'll be on a screen.
Yeah.
And, I'll get pissed with him via the screen. Don't get it twisted. But it's just like everybody is trying to get ready for when it's over. But everyone's also very scared as to, is it going to be tomorrow or is it going to be another year? We don't know.
Yeah, I think it's uncertainty. We don't like uncertainty.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. I think the uncertainty, and also, I don't think anyone other than pub landlords are looking forward to being in a pub. You're looking forward to seeing your mates, and that being the thing that you're not allowed to do is what's killing everyone.
Yeah.
That's the bit that's destroying. Because I think if we could still have, dinner around your mate's house, or you were still allowed to have mates stay over, or you could stay at theirs, or I could still see my son and you could still hug your son or whatever. If that lot was still allowed, no one would give it, actually.
It would
They'd look at their wallet.
Yeah.
They'd look at their wallet and still think, that there's finally more tenors than receipts.
Yes, yes.
Seriously, people will be like, oh, well, I can save money without the pub and I can just buy a bottle of Jameson for 20 quid. Happy days.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't even do that you can't do that with company.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's obviously very frustrating, like you said, anxious and scary times. But I think we just got to try and find something in our own lives to keep you motivated to do something.
Yeah,
or to realize that it's worthwhile. We'll get through it in the end.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out Parry Ray and Harmony on YouTube. I'd love to hear your comments. And come and say hi on our socials at Parry Ray and Harmony and at Amir Official UK.